In 2014, I quit my job. No investors, no solid plan, just this gut feeling that if I didn't bet on myself now, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering what could have happened if I did. I was 26 and the head of sales at a fast-growing tech company in San Francisco. Great money, great title, but deep down, I knew I was making somebody else rich. I wasn't an engineer, and in tech, if you're not building, you're kind of replaceable. I happened to be visiting LA and having lunch with my best friend, Nick. We were both ready for change to build something that was actually ours. And so the following Monday, we quit. So at first, we thought we'd start a men's lifestyle brand, a Shopify store that would highlight all of the products that our hero, Tim Ferriss, would approve of. Kind of products that were in the intersection of health and design, tech. The idea was simple. We were gonna buy it at wholesale and then sell them at a slight discount to our email list. It sounded cool, and it was something that we were really passionate about. And honestly, we did everything we could to make it work. We hit number 2 on Product Hunt before getting shadow banned. Nick and I were even handing out flyers outside of the Apple store during an iPhone launch back when people still waited in line. I actually got escorted out of a mall in LA for it. Inc. magazine even wrote an article about it. 5 months later, we'd barely made anything. I ran the numbers one night, and if we continue with the exact same growth rate, it would take us about 18 months to go back to making 6 figures again. And that's when it hit me. I'd run out of money way before then. I talked to Nick, and we needed a better game plan. So now the pressure's on. So we decided to stop chasing our passion and just to make money. We had heard about people flipping products on eBay and making a ton of money. Buying low, selling high from Alibaba, simple enough. And so we started looking for products, ordering samples, the usual. But one day we were working out of Nick's apartment and he received a package from Amazon. And we just looked at each other. And at this point, it's like late 2014, but we bought everything from Amazon. So why were we selling on eBay when it was clear that things were moving towards Amazon? I remember Googling, can you sell on Amazon? I found a course. We borrowed it, I guess you would say. And then we watched the whole thing in literally a handful of days. We were so excited about Amazon that we completely forgot about our Shopify store. And a few weeks later, we ordered our first 4 private label products. So silicone gloves, whiskey ice mold, both in a cube and a sphere, and then ski masks. It was completely random, but we followed the common advice of the time. Simple products should be lightweight, fit in a shoebox, ideally high margin. We were told to stay away from supplements, which would end up being probably one of the biggest mistakes that we've ever made. Oh man, if we had just moved into supplements from the beginning. Anyways, so we launched these 4 products and 3 of them failed. But one worked. Funny enough, the square silicone ice molds. Everyone else did a 1 or 2 pack. We did 3. Very creative, I know. But the crazy thing was, even though 3 out of the 4 weren't as successful as we wanted, we did actually more in revenue that first month in Amazon than the last 5 months combined on Shopify. We knew that if we kept at it, refining our product selection process, we would have a massive business. And so we kept introducing products. The following month we did a colorful spatula set. And then in May of 2015, we hit our first home run, meal prep containers. Even with the bad reviews, even with cheap quality, truthfully, we could not keep them in stock. We were actually air freighting them over by the truckload. It was the craziest thing ever. And that summer, we poured every dollar back into the business. We borrowed from friends and family, paid super high interest. We wanted to reinvest everything that we could back into the business so we didn't take salaries at all. And then I was getting close to running out of my savings and I didn't want to go back to working for someone else. And I knew that we were on to something big. And so honestly, I drove for Uber at night. I'd spend the day working on Amazon, learning the ropes, everything I could about advertising, product development, keyword research. And then in the evenings around 5 or 6 p.m., I would talk to suppliers when China woke up, have dinner, and then hop in my car, turn on the app, and drive strangers around until about 2 a.m. Honestly, I loved every moment of it. I think back then I thought I was chasing freedom like in the 4-hour work week, but I really know now that I was chasing control. I wanted control over what my life would look like over the next 10, 20 years. As crazy as it sounds, at the end of that year, we did over 2 million in sales. The next year was like 8 or so, and then the following year we hit 10 million. We were on fire, scaling crazy, and honestly making every mistake possible. We once rented a U-Haul to pick up our own shipment at the port, try to clear customers ourselves. Honestly, never again. Another time, we ordered 2 packs of everything, but forgot to check the invoice, and our supplier sent us singles instead. Complete rookie move. We definitely learned a ton. We hired fast, sometimes fired too slow, and somewhere along the way, we started chasing the wrong thing, revenue. In 2017, we launched a new line of frying pans that completely took off. We were selling hundreds a day. We were on top of the world. We started again reinvesting the profit that we thought we had into bigger orders, new hires, more marketing. We doubled down pretty much on everything that we could. But what we didn't realize was that our hero product, the meal prep containers that basically built our business, was quietly dying. The profit of those products went from about $100K a month to $40K a month within about 60 days, and we literally had no idea. New competitors had come in with better offers, and we realized the advertising we were spending on the frying pans was way less efficient than the meal prep containers. We were actually barely above break even. Revenue looked incredible on paper, but our profit was disappearing into the background. And don't even get me started on cash conversion cycles. We honestly had no visibility into how well the business was doing. And suddenly we were faced with some big decisions. We had to do layoffs, we had a ton of tough conversations, honestly some sleepless nights. It was one of the most humbling lessons of my life. That failure changed everything. We implemented profit dashboards and better reporting. We hired better people, built systems that could actually scale, adopted EOS and OKRs, and we're a completely different business after that hard lesson. Because over the last 11 years, we've had a ton of ups and downs in e-commerce. I've been fortunate enough to sell 2 different companies and help dozens of brands scale on both Amazon and sometimes TikTok Shop. And even after all of that, it feels like I'm just getting started. So now, fast forward a few years later, TikTok Shop blew up. Everywhere I looked, friends were scaling really fast. And instantly I knew I'd seen this movie before. Everyone's chasing GMV, but no one's tracking actual profit. And truthfully, TikTok doesn't make it easy for you because there's a million different centers to find different parts of your KPI. So we built the tool we wish we had back then, HiveHQ, the first profit and analytics platform built for TikTok Shop sellers, designed by operators who have lived this pain. Today, it powers hundreds of brands, but for me, it's more than just a software. It's the result of every hard lesson, every failure, every late night Uber drive. So 11 years in, from quitting a 6-figure tech job with honestly no plan, to running a portfolio of supplement brands doing over 40 million a year and about $500,000 a month coming from TikTok Shop alone. Now I'm documenting the next chapter, the push to $1 million a month. A few of my friends have already hit it, and yeah, I'm competitive, so we're coming for it too. The truth is, the journey's been anything but linear. There's definitely been a lot of wins, but also layoffs, bad bets, sleepless nights, and plenty of moments that made me question everything. And that's the real game. It's not one big win, it's staying in long enough to figure it out. If you're building your own e-commerce story right now, keep going. And if you ever want to see real numbers behind your growth, check out HiveHQ, the leading platform for TikTok Shop profit and analytics. Links below. And make sure to subscribe below if you want to hear more of our lessons and check out the top questions brands ask me about TikTok Shop. See you there.